Okay, Emerging statement. Emerging Harvest nonprofit, spirit-driven, educational, and cultural center offer opportunities to nurture the mind, heal the body, and make the spirit. It is a safe place for the curious to develop spirituality, education, communication, and shared experience of meditation, lectures, seminars, workshops, and publications. Okay, you can bring up the announcements. I do that on my
So let's see. We have our healing program with the entire Bible with semen every Tuesday night at 7:30. And that's quite interesting. It is. Course in Miracles is Wednesday, every Wednesday at 11:30. Uh, this Sunday on 15th, Ms. Hoffman will be joining us with her collaborative energy. She's very interesting with that a lot of energy she has, healing energy.
Reiki, yeah.
Yeah. We do have the UAP UFO group. We start out at 12:30. That's on the 15th as well.
What is that?
The UAP UFO group.
Oh, right, yeah, they're Sunday.
March 22nd, we will have Ask It Basket, and Cassie Shaw will be facilitating that. SR for us. It's not the last Sunday. The 29th is the last Sunday, and Liz Adams will be joining us, and she'll be speaking about the shops. So yeah, we have quite a lineup for March. Yeah, join us.
Let's go around and introduce ourselves. I'm Maddie Mathis. Okay. I'm
Yeah. What's that?
Steve? Casey?
Yeah. Let's see here. Just as we take off we take off our shoes and step into the sacred place, we become vulnerable to the space. Being part of a collective group means we respect others' opinions, although they may be different than ours. We do not judge and corrupt or try to change minds. Remember, everyone's journey is very individual. We all are coming. But please silence your cell phones and let's have a brief, we'll have a brief meditation. And when you hear me strike the ball, the ball again, we will end the meditation.
Mark's been with us before. So we're going to introduce what talk today on numerology.
So excited, something station for us, take a more subtle approach, simplify it a little bit, it's not work on it, next class, like we're going to a format, but it's touch time, changes, process of growing, and it's the working, we're never involved for paid, so something, maybe it's a little bit, maybe more too energetic. So I really want to be calm things down. So we're going to discuss today is the assignment. So numerology is what's amazing about numerology. It's not perceived, it's not there. It's not to be used as to buy different ways. So numerology is based on the premise that prior to incarnation, we engage to what we are here, who we feel life, and what we are to live. This is going to be found through the date of birth. Date of birth is assignment. It's assignment individually to and also for owners to learn through this case number and work and sit brought on the which basically causes more complex to translate to less language. Is actually what we have to use to our ability to use that. So think of the date of birth as some of our brothers here within, and the name of the birth is the point from which we're to expand the planet, and we are given our natural abilities to forward into our life path. So the name is God chosen as we believe our parents and she's our name is actually designed by ourselves in the lineage spirit domain prior incarnation. It is unlinear, complete is the choice, we only have a chance. Name can be designed in line with beliefs, where vowels are going to indicate our assignment, aspiration, and then the president is going to appear. So, name reveals we are. So in this workshop, we're just going to use the data of Bible. POS here, actually repeat person's life path or assignment. If you give me your birthday, your first name, and I guess with you, just Maddie.
MATT.
I want birthday.
11:30, 42.
11:30.
42.
Okay, 1942. And you'll see when I give you, for example, how the process for the tribute is done. Just takes each day, month, day, year, and
Can you see?
oh, I'm sorry. Tough flex. I can't really hear in this ear. So, for the 1942, and we 1 plus 4 plus 2, 9 plus 2 for myself, which is 7. Plus 9 is 10. 1 again, plus 4 is 7. So with her day, the 11 will become a 2, the 3 become a 3, and 19 becomes a 10. Those together would be 12, which would be a 5. On her is you can actually take this home as a worksheet and she can look like on a few of them today. And I think you were the last, your birthday's today. So that's going to be your knowledge. You're actually a these are applying the just use which actually wants to happen in our deck. And it's a very rare birthday. I know a lot of people born on 31st, but all remember the birthday So 1 + 5 is okay. And when's your birthday again?
9/64.
2, 1. And when's your birthday? Oh, that's fair. Since you already know it anyway. Oh, I did. Oh, nice. So you're ready. Yeah. I guess if I were good, same information than that for birthday. 1, 2, 6, 7, 3. Take your stop. Plus minus K plus 3 is 4. So it's not the same versus 0. There are sort of zero in the details. Oh, that doesn't make any difference. Yeah, yeah. Gotcha. So, okay, great. And, do you want to put this? Sure. Sure. Yes. DASEY. And what's your name? 1980. One, 6, 100. Okay, there you go. So I'm going to go through each of them. Well, Simon, people here. Um, so, what's your assignment? Numbers 1 indicates the leader, 1 is an innovator, pioneer, just more or less your overall theme. And like you're here to learn, or you're here to resources. The circumstances, the lessons require help, individuality, self-reliance, and initiative. Now, I'm going to initially relate. Sometimes like that with something which free. In general, he receives extent. So definitely you're there to individualize what you're here for. And if you know that's she's creative or 3 different dimensions that I chose, your personal life, your relationship, your career, and how you assign reflects on different instances that you can recall that routine here reflective like path. So and what was your like path?
3.
Okay, so I'm gonna history here actually. There's 2 of these 3 actually. 3 is actually one of the most blessed paths of people have the chart for, and one of the things that have been be psychic, something, be intuitive. Past 10 years, people are usually on the spirit. Just serendipity, sort of false, and just like it's very lucky. Interestingly, the LEC all have 3. So it's off letter, U is the 21st, and C is the 3rd letter. It's kind of interesting. That 3 usually does bring specific group we consider to be luck. So the theme of 3 is communication, communication, and communicates concepts. So the 3rd letter is 3. I mean, the 3rd letter, the C is the corresponding. Let's see which the letter. Yeah. So through the summit, we'll present circumstance philosophy and invite development of transmission, freedom of expression, social interaction, communication. What's interesting about numerology is that we have cultural, I suppose, programming. We have any family culture, and that don't necessarily get to express who you believe. And that's why this is such an amazing practice, as it reveals a sense of yourself. Otherwise, it's less you ever actually recognize. Greatness and looking back in life and life, how my life has been improved. How did I know this? How do I incorporate this? And how do I incorporate this number, the qualities of number, into any given current situation, whether it work, home, friendship, relationships, etc. I have two life paths, so cooperation. Life has always been a challenge for me. Prior to even waiting to numerology, it dawned on me that, well, there was a point, I remember the exact this happened for many years ago. Once I felt learned how to, I guess, cooperate and to, I guess, consider our control, my life began to flow and began to actually gain momentum rather than resistance. So, if you don't have numerology, trial and painful error, we all realize what we're here to learn. We all realize eventually what we're here to share, here, where our own son is. So, what was your 6 is now we're up in your family, so mother. The flow of 6, and to go back to the flow of 1 sense calls for independence. That's creativity. 4, 3 is open. It's about creativity of the Trinity. That all items from the Trinity. Past, present, future, mother, father, child, so on and so forth. It's in nurturing. It's curling around. It's the future. It's responsible. It's obligation. So 6 is obligation, being late fairness. So 6 is F. So that's why I use the first words, words use the first letter of that, and try to find continuity between letters, numbers, and how I present the information. Simply because it's a lot easier to retain because it's relevant. If it's scary. So the assignment is to present a circumstances, lessons, and invite the responsibility, teaching, healing, nurturing others, domesticity. So it doesn't mean you actually have to be parent. It doesn't mean you have to be a teacher. It doesn't mean you have to take care of people, animals, or it simply indicates for any beings what you are for, and for generalizations. But you'll find people are politicians, you'll find people are that's really not what you're doing in life, but this is what you're here to learn, what you're here to share. So it's qualities indicate you are to sort of like go through life in, through any means possible. So circumstances are the same. And numerology has this misconception. A lot of people have a misconception numerology what we're here to be with the odds. It's not at all. It simply reveals what we have and what we here to learn. So you can learn patience if you're an attorney, if you're an artist. You can apply creativity, obviously, speaker, player, race. Apply that if you're an attorney. And my private program, the numbers actually goes through each of the numbers and how each number you apply. So yeah, you're right. So it's probably anything we And this is my some like wild part in the years doing readings and people got their ear. Nine is for people with nine is transmission thrilling. You're running with the officers that thank you. You need to transform. You need to adapt to it. And then this work the work. Nine is scary. So we were that's what nine looked at nine. Going up into the circle of eternity. So nine stands for it's greater than itself. The ninth is about I don't know how to hear at least they go like in front of face wall in any kind of situation of life. You're going to take you out. It's humanitarian and it's about ideals and inclusion. So you have to consider everyone's point of view. You're going to find that in any given situation, you're really going to have to let go of your own personal opinions or your viewpoints and consider the all. So the non-assignments will present circumstances and lessons, require and invite development of higher ideals. If you find those non-like so incredibly or they are completely none of this is amazing, as I said, because it's a culmination of all the numbers. I used to pass in school when I was younger, higher than 9 numbers. They do. So take 1 plus 2 is 3 plus 4 all the way to 8. 1 to 8 is 36. So it's 9. 36 plus 9 is 40. It comes this up. 0 to 9 the 9 simply has the same quality as 0. And then 9, which is 10, plus 10 is 55. Plus 5 is 10, 0, plus there's 1, so it goes back. That's why there's 9 characters in the alphabet. And as far as why number they do, the first was today were not actually implemented fully until the 15th century. They were developed in the 7th century in India by Arab traders who needed a means to trade that was neutral. In antiquity, a lot of languages doubled as counting systems. Hebrew language, Greek language, and so on. So they developed 9 characters, which would indicate qualities or quantities. I mean, in order to conduct for trade, to be neutral. And the numbers that were developed, this is about 7th century. They were not recognizable by today, the numbers we use. There were 3 numbers recognizable. I don't recall exactly which Wikipedia is. But numbers were actually involved in what we use today by the 15th century. And it was actually Cornelius Agrippa, who in the 15th century in which the Lancet languages would assign numbers to each of the letters based on the corresponding, based on the sequence form. So, in my language, we still use 1 through, say, the Hebrew language has 20 characters. They keep them as they are. And English, our alphabet was never a counting system. That's why it goes 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 9, 1 through 9. So, say, of course, the 19th letter is S. So, or like, 19th, and the 10th letter is J. 1 plus 0, 1 plus 2. Yeah, repeats itself. So it's easy. AJS, BKE, CW, DMV. Yes, yes. This one. Yes, that's the sheet I gave you. They're sort of actually have what I want to. I've got brochures. So yeah, the numbers, the flow of the numbers that indicate how spirit expresses itself, how we perceive, and how we perceive indicates the essence of what we perceive. So the one, as I said, things individually on its own. It's straight, it's aimed, focused, actually out of one. The two is already horizontal one, two is receptive. The horizontal line represents feminine, as does the arch. And the two is all about cooperation, stability, diplomacy, honoring, obligation. The three, on the other hand, is you just sitting on top of the ether. The three is all about expression. It's open. It's terminal. It's obvious. It's set. And or more three is very it's stable. It's composed of it's consists of a lot. So the four is order, discipline, and three is creativity and spontaneity. And if you look at the numbers, with notes on hand, the alternating numbers are showing you usually have some common qualities. They're going to be compatible with each other. Then consecutive numbers should be complicated numbers of themselves, as the energy is how it expresses itself. So we have 5, 3 is open, it's introvert, it's expressive. Five actually goes in every direction. It's the only number is around the 5 senses. Sensuality, the physical adaptation. It also corresponds with planet Mercury, which is about travel, which is communication. The 6, on the other hand, unlike 5, the 6 is way from the 5. Protecting, guarding, it's reckless, and 5 is definitely radical. The lines help this to protect itself from the mother or nurture, teacher. It simply wants to create a safe space for it to build. So we can see the whole structure. 16 structure 40 compared to the building. This makes definitely up. This feminist are yes. So the even number are more about stability, and in the odd numbers are about expansion. So you have 7 and 6. 7 is held up and down and back. This is reflection. And the 7 is a little bit sisters analyzing this. The 6 and together as well. Train the 7 says no, don't be nurtured. You don't want to be here. And understand the world and go within. The work. It's exploring, it's exploration outside. This is not exploration going within. It's you learning. This is it. So the 8, on the other hand, the 8 is not the 8. The 8 represents so much. The 8 is actually the number, I think, the most complexity of authentication. But in a literal sense, based on its flow line, it's a continuum, and it represents higher and lower. So materialization of spiritual, and 8 is all about materialization. The 8 wants its executive, it wants authority, self-hanging. And interestingly, you take 2 parallel lines and draw a figure 8. It becomes as above. So it's a life path. Notice it's very interesting. It's never you're it's you're moving. It's very popping. It's not spiritual. I use fallow grounded comfortable base. You're probably not going to materialize very much. So you have to have spiritual, the intent has to be there upon nature, and just let it come. Otherwise, you're missing if you're missing alignment with prayer, spiritual body, you're going to manifest anything in the physical. And finally, 9 is about letting go and release. The 8 is a continuum and it kind of continually reinforces itself as powerful. And interestingly, the 8 does not really appear in the Testament. There's only a few references to it. 8 is really popular as far as being more of a spirit in Asia. Remember the Olympics, the 8 2008? The extended number of prosperity is that 8 with the color. That tracks well. The 8 it doesn't really appear in the New Testament or the Old Testament. It's interesting because the word God and a lot of words pertain to deity actually add up to 8. And I extensively and books from Numerology reveal the numbers. So there's one word in the English language that actually do coincide with the respective numbers. So not this is not in solitude, do not is completely about letting go. So we see line sing up into the circle, which is spirit. The 9, like the 1, stands, but the 1 stands for its own vote as a place own trail. The innovator, the pioneer. The 9 is returning back to the source. The 9 is learning how to go, to flow, to be attacked, to be reminded, and to accept other point of view. To kind of incorporate everything oneness. Because it's obviously includes numbers in yourself to be open and receptive. The 8 has a lot of implications as far as managing finances or managing wealth in general, managing your resources. So, 8 is one of the more difficult ones. So that's how to render each of the numbers. Why the numbers mean what you mean. This was just greatly maybe it actually does. The flow of the numbers is absolutely integral on a level, spiritual level, because numbers are universally recognized symbols, and that's what the numbers are. They're symbols, and they don't indicate qualities. I mean quantities per se. As most people don't into very high reveal qualities behind the individual through their date of birth and their name of birth. So it's amazing cool to understand your so on the second sheet, does anybody share exactly how their life path numbers with how they relate to them? Whether the personal relationships or career. Not putting anyone on the spot. You have one like that. You know what? Place for that. I have to say pictures. I'm gonna kind of jump around. 3, 6, and 9s are the creative numbers. 3 is more about visual art. 6 is about music. Right? And there's like a lot of musicians out of this. When I was younger, they're all past and they're old. I do everyone's date of birth. 6 and my brother's 6. 6 seems very prevalent amongst musicians or writers. People are music. And 9 is about art, creativity, more important. One phrase. The opera, not too so I want to ask you about 1 and what circumstances you recall where you had to be a leader. You got to do your trip. Yes. Yeah.
Saxophones in the sanctuary church. That was a novel. That kills for. Oh, I remember the time I was on Sarah's mom sanctuary. Church, which was smoking very, very stiff.
Yeah. Totally hear thing. So when you said you drums in,
They had green drums in the sanctuary.
oh, you got so you play,
No. I hired a drummer.
it's okay. So you can saxophone, right?
That's just results in the saxophones went to the game, planted two cats on the church.
Wow. Yeah, coordinating too.
Wow.
My wife's Catholic. I thought about it that way.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I had people come, show up, play, one, yeah, piano, and I thought, oh, I think so. Always at full one, so at that point I started with James Campbell's on this. Since 20 years.
What's interesting about that you're right. People in church, we have hymnals, we chant. Well, if you look at numerology between vowels, consonants, or names, you can look at vowels as being tones. A memorization of either vowel tones is beneficial effects on the students. So, for sure, consonants can be compared to the beat. See the beat and the tone together in position is greater than this with parts. So you know, they're the first thing the question really what we see first. As to numerology, our appearance in consonants may reduced to a single digit. And anybody here that's interested, I can do your chart. It's just a little chart. Takes the 5 components. And since you're attending a workshop, I'm going to fight with you to be interested to talk me out the workshop. These are really cool. I created. These are natural. I've seen them. These are called these spiritual skills closet windows. So they incorporate your life path, your full name, your abilities, your values, your aspiration, and your conscience, which is your appearance, your date of birth, which is your advantage. If you want to round, but that's just a simple chart. There's no key line. You only lost 499 on campus. But hey, awesome gift for your family. I've actually did a recent family. So it's interesting that about one being like one sign to one and then number of them. But the drums in the church make a lot of sense. Higher one. The mask. Yeah. Those drummers are mixed. Let's go. She know. She became real like busy artist. She's a founder. Whose daughters are like man. Oh man. Yes. So I already going to start. Yeah, churches do hymnals and chant. They're these drums. These actually provide structure. And a lot of music today is more based on just beats. A lack of harmonics, tones, harmony. It's just right. So with her career, I come to mind with one house that had to apply. Space shocker. I think it made easier, the examples. Probably. So, what were you, for instance, what were you a position you had as far as
my first job was at the choir chief in church.
So if you think about offhand in the exam side of the path, you did for the step and brought the instrument in, or was there any times where you really had to stand on your own to stand on something, or there could be a trailblazer to some extent? Oh, so
We just got kicked out of the church for being short.
yeah, but it's how you take that and you incorporate it. This is what you start into. Now that every president on spring flat justices. serial killers, threes. There's consistency. You're at ones, threes, eights, fours. The first are more or less fillers that channel forth part energy, but they're not there to simply again being composed and funds to be their structure. They're to indicate what we have to learn. So, what's your like three? So, in your personal life, relationships, career, creativity, uh, communication, how would you set it out?
That should be Holy Spirit,
Yes.
and I'm there to open the Spirit. That
So you intuitive considering the threes twice double three. Taking a life path because three is kind of a trinity. It's blessed. I feel it's much number. Now if any people with 11 Jews have a lot more conflict. Duality at participation. So three Earth, for instance, adds up to three. ART. And there's tons of examples on the artifact numbers and what they describe, but if I don't actually do explain the different words, each number actually correspond. So, would it include any of your conversations anytime you have to rely these thinking really to the mind?
for a long time, I've managed a group home and we took physical events to say ladies. I now schedule speakers for emerging arts.
It's all about patience. So
Yeah. So yeah, I'm always in communication with some.
you have to be free to your approach. You have to be a little more. All right.
Yes. And yes.
That's what some of the words have three instinct. And that as three, it's creative. Or three, it's feminine. Angel, rose, and woman, all three. For humanic, then you can that is actually pretty often. So if you look at the word, you take any word, you look at its value, it provides dimensional, not or sometimes it's pretty self-pure based on the qualities of the numbers in the word itself. So what was your 6? Yeah. So how would you say it's 6? The qualities of 6 for a pot as far as your personal life, your career.
Well, I didn't want to get married for a long time, and then I did because I wanted to have kids, but they had to have surgeries.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't have any, so I adopted 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so my grandkids too.
You need
I wanted so,
and that's
you know.
and this incorporates also your soul or your aspirations as a vow. Needs to be acknowledged to find meaning of life, which my chart I can't remember it, but as I said, I'm interested. I can't do your chart. Here. Let me I did verification on Numerology the sign. We calculate your sign. What's your birthday? April.
16.
There's a lot of 16 signs in like April. What year?
19.
1990. So 9, 7. Okay, cool. 11 to like that.
11 2.
That's since you're here, 2 is about cooperation, the Google Maps. Too much math numbers, so is the intuitive, the psychic, that's number 11. And the sign is says what we come here to learn, what we come here to live. So I'm not going to go too far, but I'm going to explain the fundamental numerology based on the premise that we are assigned path, based on ourselves path to go through life. And this provides us 7 pillars. What we're here to learn, we're here to live. And once we're aligned with assignment, we live in life with degree of it's not only law, so into and it's
So basically, are you saying that everything exists in another time?
well, in spirit,
Yeah.
we believe we choose have our parents choose our name, right?
Mm-hmm.
We believe our date of birth was something that was pre-planned by somebody else, but it's not because everyone is Caesarean due dates. We assign ourselves for date of birth in spirit because in spirit there is no choice. We feel there's a choice here. But choice is a modality. And truth is a reality and singularity. So prior to incarnation, we assign ourselves the path we want to live and learn, and the mission design our name, which is based on our abilities, which is the same, our aspirations, which are the feel for the house, the fired off their soul, that which needs to be acknowledged, incorporated, and then the consonants is our appearance. That design see ourselves and applies how people are going to see us. So that's so it's pretty self from personal self evident. You're right. And fell on a little tangent that I do once in a while. Feel there's all that connection, so I know. So I ask them if you know that extra each. And sure, one word, yes, and as soon as I have a name, we discussing can feel reciprocation. Because we're using it on a birth certificate because it's when we assign ourselves prior to incarnation. So any name that we use for life is going to accentuate the qualities or inherent qualities of our birth. So I mean, it's a little more difficult. Make it meditation change. There's an adjustment. They also use multiple names. So if you use my birth certificate and using their name, I've done these 4 different names. Their energy was just scattered. We are a lot more prone to do that's it. Do the hyphenation and then checks Sue then becomes Sue and it's just yeah. So you have that. So the qualities of 9 are about altruism, spirituality, and pure sense, not religion. Reality, tolerance. So is there any examples that you could think of and if you would have had a incorporate these? Right.
Perhaps I've actually had 2 long-term prayer funds that were more energetic. Just really, yeah, so. The number 6 plus is kind of getting knowledge. Yeah, this student here, all the day, so really, my husband is really. I'm not saying insinuating anything like
just simply 9 falling to 9 outside because we're multi-dimensional, we're multi-layered. And what we have for what we're lacking in our numerology chart, we're going to find in a natal chart or in any other. So we really can't just one. That's why people use certain systems and say, well, you should be doing this for a week. And I'm like, you're only looking one dimension.
What's your job? No, I'm slaying time, but it seems like forever. I wake up every now and then and go, okay, 3:30. Like, all right. John the first.
Yeah.
Okay. But there's 3 hours connected. It's straight like usual.
A 3 again. Look at the angel numbers. It's 3 minutes and that's give receptivity spirit 3 to 4 times appreciation. And that's actually it's not it's really cold. Everything at 54, that's what means on a daily basis. The vowels at between 18 and 36 of the consonants. So, but the three, that's actually a pretty common phenomenon. People will see repeating numbers. The reason they're angel numbers because Trinity numbers. So the numbers most people live to be in the Middle Ages. People reach out, but you know. So the first number is single in the units position is kind of our ego in the most benign sense, not toward ego. And then the number in 10th position is our soul. So even if you go through decades, you'll see certain decades during your teens, you're trying to yeah.
Yes.
And we are pure in spirit through 9 and our 20 relationships. It's for and 3 is all about communication. Talk and like to be understand play a role that can express yourself.
No, sometimes people like try to change you or like what is it? Take me down in your life, and that whenever you just gotta
That's real power. Not to the young Nietzsche.
Yeah.
But I was saying earlier that we have so much cultural conditioning.
Yeah.
Numerology provides us insight really who we are essentially.
Right.
And it's learning how to learn.
Spirituality and
Spirituality.
Yeah. Yeah. So outside of that, what you really
But you have to also take consideration. We choose our parents. We assign ourselves our parents. We assign ourselves we're going to be born at the time, location. That's why astrology is kind of a blueprint of our lives. It uses the concept of Gnostics that I've never seen this anywhere else in any other literature. It's called psychocosmic parallelism. In spirit, there is no causality. That's modality duality. Big fan of David Hawkins too. But psychocosmic parallelism is what the ancients knew as being that what is happening in the microcosm ourselves is actually occurring in the macrocosm simultaneously. Look at a nebula, how it reflects our body, our eyes, our heart, our brain, our nervous system. All of these patterns are found in nature and even in foods. Like broccoli lungs, it looks like water, and so forth. And but the point is though that with numerology it provides us insight as to who we are because it brings us more peace and knowing it's like, wow, I have an 8, for instance, and my aspiration as a vows. I grew up. We made the Waltons look like the Astors. But material wealth and having resources to manage it, having that authority, it was always something that burned within me. I needed to apply it in some way, and my parents had no idea why are you so materialistic. I'm like, I'm not materialistic. I just like having resources and having resources to use to build upon. You know, money is associated with a fortune in the East. They associate with wealth. Well, when I actually look in numerology, it's like not. It's like I found close peace. I'm like, this is why I'm not some kind of European. This is who I am.
Right.
So if you go say to Amish community, which would be the last to really even consider this, people are so structured, people aren't going to recognize it because they've been so conditioned.
To stay in that.
Yes, and I'm using one example.
Yes.
Just using an example.
In general, though, I get what you're saying. I definitely get where you're coming from because honestly, I'm not gonna, and this is just my personal. I don't want to offend anybody. Go off of my instincts because a lot of times, a lot of people don't follow their own instincts, and then they end up in a bad situation.
There's a situation.
Yeah.
Religion's not structure. Spirituality is a substance.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of religions out there. It's all structured. They have structure, completely focused and things.
Yeah.
But
Right.
but that's differences. And I actually, you know what? I can It's complimentary. I've never seen you before. Here, we'll actually open up that page. This is interested. And this has numerology, but this also has other practices. But comes that between the two. So there's a decade of contemplating between those two modalities.
Merging heart.
Yes. You might want to check the church too. Yeah, there's one in Slipper, Japanese.
Okay.
There's one on Wales Road and
Yeah.
Cambridge
Okay.
Northwest
Yeah.
and
This is just a.
around
So-
Jackson.
What's here a 5?
There's one in.
Okay, 5 is about
Wales Road
fertility,
and
5 is
Cambridge
about
Northwest.
adaptation.
Yeah.
So
Unity.
I think
I have
like
to work on Cambridge.
Oh, okay.
so how would you relate your 5 within say your career or relationships or
I was a drug and alcohol counselor for many years.
drug actually at 5?
And yeah,
So that
That's why.
that's why the 3.
certainly engagement and interaction with.
Well, the thing is 5 is a number of freedom too.
Yeah.
So when people feel, and I've done plenty of drugs in a day, I've been all over. So don't want. We have this kind of dual nature. It's young identified and this not the young, the burning one growing. So the burning one wants adventure, novelty. The growing one wants security and safety. Because they have like a lot of times we're just like freedom. Which we are at people turn for many reasons to say experimenting, using drugs or but it does provide a sense of liberation to some extent. There's also very high cost of that.
Yeah, yourself.
Which is stressful. So it's interesting because addict. So addict, the word addict is 3. Add up to 23.5. Jail and slave at 14. I'm not going to go into, but there's a lot of numbers. America adds up to 32. But so does 7/4/1776. July 4th, 1776. Adds a 5. It's 5. So it's about some of the words that reflect 5 are adaptation, explore, discover, and research all out of 41. So there's a lot of words in the English alphabet that their numbers, what they add up to, the reduced cross sum, correspond with their general understanding, but there's other words which I'm like, why is it that war adds up to 6? There's a lot of words that add up to 6. It shows you another dimension. So war, people are not out to destroy each other. People are here to protect themselves. And you're protecting your interests. And people have conflict of interest.
Then there's more.
War is man's inheritance. Peace is a yardstick in which progress is measured.
That's control.
So I'm wondering why, maybe really examine a lot of words that we take for granted. And the 6 was actually gun as a 6. Well, let's use a gun for protection. 6 is about protection. It's a wound. 1 is independent, is a trailblazer. 2 is receptive. It's accommodating. Duality. 2, 3 is open, creative. 4 is structure. It's all lines. Foundation. And then 5 is about exploration. 6 is about obligation. 7 is introspection. 8 is delegation. And then 9 is compassion. Trying to give you a really brief.
Yeah, no,
Since you came a long way.
yeah, I'm good at it.
But that worksheet I gave you on the back also goes into the numbers here what it means. So having a 5 for a drug and alcohol counselor.
Yes, and I don't know, with the archetypes.
Well, the archetype are a lot of 5, the adventure.
Yeah.
One is that you do not get very well at change. Having to be versatile and travel. Is there any point that you found a struggle when you change?
Sometimes.
during your younger years, would you say this was more prevalent or throughout your life, was it something that just came naturally? This was during your lifetime, adaptation, wanderlust, adventure. Was there any point in your life that you found this to be difficult, or is it something that always came naturally that you felt?
I think it was natural because I really, it was like maybe 15 and 25, 30 years ago, I uprooted where it was and came out here. And I think that was even at that time for that to be what, I'm 83 and you look good. How old were you?
How old were you when you
Pardon?
How old were you when you moved out here? You remember?
It was about 35 years ago, 40 years ago. It was about 40, 40.
I think 45.
Yeah.
So I actually know a lot of different disciplines. So 45 is a very useful year. In the card system, we studied mystic textbook. It's the predates written language. Second language is actually in that book. And it's blueprint year. 45 year cycle repeats. It's kind of like the equivalent of what happens when Saturn returns at 20 days. It's very difficult. It's called your faith with reaping what you've sown.
Right, right.
I think that's
I
incredible.
was always gonna repeat itself.
Yes, but there's karma too. So it's interesting. Karma, you said about karma repeating itself. Karma, the word in 8. So 8 corresponds to Saturn.
Okay.
Saturn is about karma.
Right.
As a continuum. It's the other thing, kind of very few knowledge is dark. So karma is it's not our master, it's our teacher. Because we never learn from it.
You're gonna learn this.
But the other part is Dharma. Dharma is our personal responsibility and the initiative we take to learn. And very few people recognize the counterpart karma. Very few people. It's not retribution.
The counterpart karma.
Yeah. There's a it's too many people. That's one of words taken way out of context and misused. Karma is retribution. We're not here to be punished. Karma is a teacher. If we don't learn, we're gonna suffer. You're not being punished.
Right.
It's just if it's right now, you're gonna bring your
And
you're gonna get wet.
yeah.
So yeah. So with you, you're a 2 life path, and my mother master numbers 30. And me being a 2, I shared earlier that throughout the life I found that once you are aligned with your life path, numerology is one shortcut to understand quicker what you're here to learn and to share. So having a 2 life path with me was I found a lot of difficulty until I began to be able to cooperate with people.
I'm very
And different
not like finish strong. Not you know the today. So
two in thought now. Wait, we're saying that right. It's
yeah, the option.
you have 1, 1, 2, 3. So you have 3 for 2s on the left. Okay, and not going too many tangents. When you have a double digit number, the same number. The second number in a master number is usually what you're really is kind of your difficulty. So in numbers, like notes on the piano, consecutive numbers create discord, and then alternating numbers is chords. So the discord between 1 and 2, because 11 is 2, 1 and 2 is 1 is it wants to do its own thing no matter what. And 2 is diplomatic or stick. So once you master 2, those qualities of your 11 master number are going to rise by the time you're 10. So once you learn whether you're engaged in life, nothing being doormat, just being flexible and receptive to other people, and trying to use diplomacy to get along with others, you're going to avoid a lot of unnecessary resistance.
See, like I didn't go through a lot of these things and like wow. This was my mother. So it was for about 2021 and we're still trying to bounce back from that. But it takes a long time. So still like
It takes
I'm finding myself within me without, her or my family. I don't know who, and I know I am, a great person, but I know that there's a lot more to go into that.
We have our quality. Yeah. We definitely have our that's stand independent, but numerology in the sense that we actually do what we desire.
Yeah.
Those qualities behind your name indicate sort of like, well, what motivates you, what drives you, how other people see you. And it's important how other people do see you because you have to act accordingly.
Yeah.
I have an 8 also in my parents. So 8 is a difficult number. It's about people see it as being the authority. 8 can be a bit intimidating, and not to mention my natal influences. So when you said it takes time, no, it doesn't take too long. It doesn't take too short because time is simply a function it's a product of objective senses. Processing can happen in any given size point. So don't believe it takes too much time. It can take 5 weeks or 5 years.
Yeah.
It's just a really process.
Like, grief, but
It probably will forever.
at the same time, I have to love me first too. So I'm having a difficult time with that, and I'm also having a difficult time with authority. I don't like authority. I don't like
Me
to
neither.
feel trapped. I don't like to feel disciplined.
Have you ever
It's just placed in me though. Yeah.
Have you ever studied your natal chart? You did. That works too. Again, Cancer authority, my Pluto is squared on the death, and meaning people in authority hate me.
Yes,
They always have.
get it.
Not now, once you understand and you act accordingly, but often people in astrologers, and I feel this applies to numerology, that people who are not aware of what is working through actually attract it more. Because on a subconscious level that we're projecting what we don't understand consciously, you gotta bring the shadows of light and integrate and an appropriate way to just simply go through life and understand what you're working through. Once you can embrace that, understand that, the lesson no longer needs to present itself. So I look at your natal chart too.
Yeah.
40, look for your look if you have any squares, especially with Pluto.
Okay.
Yeah. And your 10th house.
It's in house. You never better call this down to me. Like, I'm confused.
I know.
Oh, that's the chart. Those are the charts.
Astrology, difficult. Numerology and astrology, but
It's so much.
think of astrology as a macrocosm that are coming through us. Numerology is how what we act into and how we engage with macrocosm. Individual, what we have to interact and put back into the macrocosm.
Back to universe.
Yeah, so they're reciprocal.
Okay.
Yeah, but astrology is a lot. Well, it's like 10 planets, your aspects. It's just there's a lot.
Yeah.
But there's two. You have to look at it takes a dual approach. You have to look at your house system. And if you don't know the time you were born, birth certificate no longer put that on your they no longer. In the 60s, in the 60s, for a while and they redo. I feel there are definitely nefarious intents behind that because they don't want to really go through it.
Actually, they stuff.
Wait, not being conspiracy theories, but Rockefeller Foundation controls 90% of law, medicine, and education. I think there is a reason why they won't put you have to if you don't have time to put. So that gives you additional insight. But with numerology and astrology is the most simplistic because you're looking at one and you're doing basic arithmetic.
Yeah.
So it allows you insight into certain qualities and abilities, talents you have. So you can find your hidden talent just by looking at your name. Like I'm naturally gifted at this. How can I apply this? So you could be say 3 is about the artist.
That's so.
But you can be an attorney. But you can be an attorney or a and be a 3. And your approach, your talent is to bring a creative solutions. And you can be amazing at whatever you get. So your numbers are not going to be there to indicate what you should do for a career. That's really metaphysical arts have been so trivialized, and this is why I like numerology, because few people really are even aware of it for how simplistic it is. That it hasn't been so contaminated by pop culture. Like, you're a Gemini. Like, what's where your sun's at? And Gemini, the archetype of energy in Gemini is not going to be a means that I'm like, I'm you. That's like where I'm.
It's ridiculous.
I'm a Scorpio. They have a very strong aspect to the sun, but I know Scorpios, they're complete wimps, and usually their Mars is poorly aspected. Usually a Libra. So you have the 15 more. Okay, so with numerology, the beauty of numerology is in simplicity, that you understand the meaning of the numbers 1 through 9, and they mean the same for every period of time. The implications might differ a little. Now, with your life path, that's a general broad overview of what you're here to learn and what you're here to develop and live, what you're here to live and learn, your truth. Now, any numbers beyond that through your name is what you have to use at your disposal, how you're going to really interact to play into the scheme. I usually use birthday, it's easier to calculate through your full name. So I said, if you want, my email address is on the paper also.
Okay.
Just email me and give me your new chart. It's just a small 5-chart chart. It provides, it's kind of an introductory. So usually I do have a package. It's $20. You get my 2 books. You get your closet window, which is who had that? Who had that? So this takes your life path, your assignment, your ability, that's your full name, your aspiration is a vowel, an 8, and then your appearance, which is a vowel, 8, 8, 7, and then your date of birth, your advantage. A quick hack for numerology is the advantage. That's the day of the month you were born. Reduced to a single digit. That's a gift. That's your gift. You got to. It's what you have to use it. It's always not your advantage. 16 sevens are usually very analytical. They kind of stand aside. They're kind of looking within. Actually, 7 corresponds with Libra. 7. Venus. No, but that's a quick hack. If you look at the day of the month you were born, it's an advantage you have. Things serve to your advantage. And a lot of people I know with the 16-7, 7's a mystery unto itself. They're not very outspoken as they are quiet, introverted, and they need time to contemplate, to understand all the dimensions. So I pretty brief that sheet of paper, that's your son. Yeah. So yeah, that's things when you shit on that you can take that home, just contemplate, reflect on, and it really does a lot. Numerology is only as effective as a person is reflective. Otherwise, it's just information. But understanding the premise of it, applying it, and then reflecting on it, you can kind of. Most people today have the attention span of that.
Yeah.
Program. Yeah.
Example with the 3 and being open to spirit. I've always been open to spirit.
Down
But
always.
with my career, I was horrible in that.
A lot of people are. I am too.
Now I'm a bookkeeper and a treasurer.
But the thing is, having a 3 life path, you're going to probably take a more creative approach to that. It doesn't mean, when I think of bookkeeper, I think of 4 and 7. The numbers 4 and 7. Purely archetypical. Doesn't mean that because you have those in your chart, that's what you have to do.
No.
So you have to know the difference between archetypical and literal.
Making the choice to go to school to learn.
And 999. Somebody said I should be a paramedic. Or somebody should be a caregiver. Like, no. Well, what do you do? Is to whatever you do for a living, your career, you might not. What we do, this is different meaning. Your meaning, right? So you need to look for inspiration, your balance, and incorporate that element for what you're doing. You could be in a box, a small room, and a panel will come through, like a plank wood, and you paint. Shoot out for 8 hours. You want to shoot yourself in the foot. But if you're painting planks of wood and they're surrounding a beautiful studio spots, it's gonna have meaning. So once you know your aspiration, you can incorporate that 5 and 8. So what gives my life meaning, what gives my career meaning is having some degree of autonomy and authority and empowering myself by mastering what I'm doing.
Right.
Doesn't matter. I move boxes. Like,
Yeah, how do you want more compromise to every day?
so your life path, your assignment, it gives you a better understanding of how to go through life and what approach to take that is ultimately going to create the least amount of resistance. So the qualities of that number, worksheet I included with your career, your personal life, your relationships, to apply your assignment and whatever difficulty, obstacles arise, apply your assignment and constructive with them. Simple as that. And the reason it's so self-evident was because I figured this out before I even knew about numerology. And I'm like, wow, subconscious. When I was a child, I always knew numbers meant something more important. They were qualified. No teacher could tell me why. I don't know how something they did.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. I'm like, why is there only 9? They're spiritual communicators.
They're cold.
And the triple.
They're cold. Yeah.
And the triple digits are communication of spirit. Self, ego, soul, higher self. That's why angel numbers are always 3 digits. Usually.
You got that together. I'll get it. Yeah.
666 to me is actually not.
It's really not.
There's no such thing as bad number.
It's the Kundalini. I have that on my insurance card. Yeah. 666. It's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh yeah, just email me.
do you need like the price of
No, I just need your full name on your birth certificate and your date of birth. That's it. That takes me like a minute to do.
I appreciate you people. You guys have a wonderful day. It's nice to meet you. Yeah, I'm just never done.
Hey, you sure.
No, thanks so. I'm gonna sign in, you know.
We usually do 3 ohms.
Around this area?
I don't. I actually work around this area. My clients, they usually live right. They live back here. See you, dude. I'm in the day. BSP, Victor now. I'm trying to stuff to do. So
Learn to cooperate and embrace the one that produces duality. Two.
oh,
So yeah, that's it.
Wow, Todd, that was great.
I try to maintain some degree of structure, some format, but at the same time, it really limits me because there's a lot of information that can only come through by engaging with other people. This is why I love doing these workshops, is because it provides me better understanding. If you repeat something, you talk with somebody, you share, you have a much wider understanding of what you're discussing.
Well, Todd will be joining us again on April 19th.
And I'll have a slideshow. Actually, it's going to be serious. It's not deviated.
that's what I want. Computer.
Okay.
Well, it's going to come down. Wow.
I will be at the ballistic fair here too in June
7th.
7th. Yeah, we're doing that. I will be speaking in Cleveland at the end of June. I'm going to do a workshop, but it's $50 and you get I read the book chart PDF, and then yeah, I actually have it next month when I come home, drop it off. Yeah, it's let's share this because I mean it's still a ways away with anybody who might know. So what I do is